Hey everybody, today I want to tell you a little bit of my story, where I come from, so that when you watch all those vlogs, you don't have to wonder who I am and what am I doing. Right now it's Friday afternoon and I got some errands to do, and then I gotta fix the bike and do a couple other things, so I figure while I'm doing all that stuff, let's talk. The first thing you gotta know about me is that one day, quite a while ago, I was born. And after that day, my parents named me. And they named me Jonathan, just so y'all know.
Did a back somersault.
Is your face all right?
No. No.
No.
I grew up in Washington State in America, and we lived out in the country, which was great. I don't regret that sort of a growing up at all. I'm looking for a motorcycle shop because I need to buy a gasket. Also, I'm not a mechanic. I have very little experience with that sort of thing, so it should be good. In other news, I'm at a red light that just turned green. I was gonna talk. When I was growing up, our family read a lot of mission books, stories of missionaries, like Eric B. Hare in Myanmar, and lots of stuff from the, South Pacific Islands, places like that, Africa too, all over. And that sort of was formative in my mind because I was around 10 years old and I decided that I wanted to be a missionary with my life. And so that was a long-term desire in my heart. Also, when I was 10, I started taking piano lessons, and that was a very big part of my life until I was about 17. Music also was kind of a escape for me in my teen years. It was kind of just where I would outlet kind of, and it was a good thing for me, I think. And I know God, has used it to bless other people, and He always loves to do that, and it's always a blessing to be able to be a blessing. So there's a motorbike shop that I've come to before, and I thought, I'll just go there. And they closed. Not sure where God wants me to go, but praying that He'll lead me. I was just driving along and I saw one. Usually the motorbike shops here, they'll put out tires by the road. That's their advertisement. And I saw some, and I saw a shop, and it's open, so I'm a little bit down the road, but I got 2 feet, so that works. So I'm gonna go see if they have it. Hopefully they do. Don't worry, I put that coin there before I started filming. I didn't steal it. This here is how we get water. It's really quite a grand situation. And yeah, I pay 15 cents and get that whole bottle. It's not plumb full, but pretty full. Probably 18 or 19 liters of water for 15 cents. So when I was getting close to being done with high school, which, another side note, I was homeschooled, which I'm very grateful for. I had this plan that I was going to go to like a 3.5-month Bible college. Yep. I was going to go to a 3.5-month Bible college and then go overseas. And at the time, my oldest brother was in Africa setting up a TV station. And I kind of had an interest in media as well, following in his footsteps. And he had told my mom, he said, you should tell Jonathan he should go overseas first. And my mom told me that, and I was like, yeah, but that's not according to my plan, you know. And so then I just had this thought, well, maybe I should ask him, like, you know, why he thinks that. So the next time he was on the phone, he was talking to my parents, and I got on, and it was a Friday night. And I asked him, I said, so you said that, like, why? Like, what's your reason? Like, why should I do that? And he said, well, if you've been overseas first, you'll know better what you want to take away from Bible college. And then he started telling me that I should come and help him in Kenya. And he basically just assumed the sale and said, yeah, you should come next month. Like, what do you need to do? Like, do you need a passport? Da, 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 da. And I was like, whoa, take it easy there. Anyway, I prayed about it, and I was like, you know, the least I can do is get my passport. I'm going to need it anyways. And by the time I had my passport, I had enough money to go, and shortly thereafter, I was sitting on a plane heading to Africa. You know, I'll never forget, I was sitting on the plane. We left the coast of North America, and we were over the Atlantic, and I remember looking down. I was just all blue. Looked at the map on the, the plane, and I was like, that's a long time of being over the ocean. What if the plane goes down? I'm gonna die because I don't know how to swim very well. Like, this is not good. And I started to get all stressed. And I remembered, wait, I'm not here on my own. Like, God has me on this mission. And so I don't need to be concerned about that. I got there and I just tried to be a sponge and learn as much from my brother as I could, and then get him out of there because he was burned out. So I basically was there and took over like most of the technical areas and training, even though I had just been learning for 2 months. I hardly knew anything before that. So it was a very growing experience, very stretching, which is good. Then immediately after that, I flew directly to Thailand to join a vision group. The same idea as a mission trip, except not going to one place, but going to like 8 places or something. We traveled around Thailand, Cambodia, India for 2 months. And that was my first time in Asia. There was 2 experiences on that trip that really like solidified in my mind what I was going to be doing with my life, basically. One of those was in Bangkok. We'd gotten there. It was like 3 days after we arrived. And we went out to see some tourist stuff. You know, we went to this big temple complex and everything. Saw a ginormous reclining Buddha, and went to some malls and stuff. And anyway, when we got back to the hotel, I was sitting there just kind of thinking, like, I wonder if I saw another Christian today. I'd never been in a situation where I had to ask that question. But in a city of 12, 13 million people and very, very, very few Christians, I genuinely had to wonder if I'd ever seen a Christian, other than the people in our group. And then later in India, same thing, we were on a bus, like a bus full of white people. And we were driving through village after village after village. And there's over 400,000 villages in India that have no access to the gospel. They, no Christian lives there. They haven't even had the opportunity to hear the gospel message, the good news of salvation. They have no idea. And when I'd heard about people that hadn't, heard of Jesus or didn't know anything about him, but when I saw them face to face and I looked into their eyes, it changed me. It's like, I can't just go back to America and do whatever I want. Like, I can't go get a 9-to-5 job and nice house and car and whatever. Like, that's all gonna burn anyway. Like, I need to put my life into helping those people here, because they deserve the chance. Like, they're God's kids. They just don't know it. I knew when I came back from that trip that I had to be a missionary and serve God. Sold out. I literally shot that like a year ago, and I had intended to finish it long before now. But anyway, we're going to finish it right now. When I returned from that trip in Asia, I went to Bible college for 3.5 months, the same one I was planning to go to earlier. And then I joined Jesus for Asia. Now, I'd been familiar with Jesus for Asia for a long time, since 2007, pretty much. And my brother had worked with them before, and I was interested in media, but I wanted to be in missions too, and that just seemed like the perfect way to come together. So when I joined JFA, I was working with, they were doing live shows online every week, and I was editing video and learning a lot about that. And I was there for like 5 months, and then I got this email asking me to go to Thailand and teach English. And that was not what I had planned, but at that point I didn't have anything planned. And so I thought, well, okay, Lord, if you want me to go, then I need money for a plane ticket and I need money for a visa, and then I'll go. If that's what you want, just open that door. And long story short, he did. And so I came here to Thailand for 5 months and worked with a family that was way out in the jungle, so I had to learn to drive the boat down the river. It's like 8 kilometers down the river. And we lived out in the middle of the jungle. They had a school there, but I was teaching actually in a Thai school just 2 days a week, conversational English. So as far as that, it was pretty easy, but there was a lot of things that happened in those 5 months that really challenged me and really kind of changed me, even though I didn't realize it all at the time. There were times where it was hard and I didn't really want to be there and whatnot, and it's like, well, I can endure for 5 months. I can deal with it for 5 months. And then the closer that it got to the time that I was going to leave, I realized the more and more I wanted to stay and didn't want to go, until it was like, the week before, and I was like, I really just don't want to go back, but I had to because my brother was getting married. So at that point, when I went back to the States, I realized I'd wanted to be a missionary overseas since I was 10, but it wasn't until that point that I didn't want to be in America. So after I got back to the States in 2014, I really was struggling because I wanted to just drop everything and go back to Thailand. But I felt like God had given me a talent in media and that I couldn't just let that sit idle. And so I continued working for Jesus for Asia in America. And then a couple years later, they asked me to be their foreign correspondent, which basically meant I would still be doing video, but a little bit different style, and I would get to live in Thailand. And I thought that was pretty brilliant. Something else really major that's happened in my life was in 2018, Hannah and I got married. And that has been a huge blessing for both of us. Alright, and here's the best part of the whole video. But first, this right here is the Leaning Pineapple of Pisa. There's something that happened to me, not really happened to me. There's something that I started to understand in 2019 that was a real game changer, real life changer. And it wasn't like a big bang, but I've always sort of had this subconscious thought that my value to God is based on my performance, what I do. If you think about a stray dog who's been beaten and abused terribly, and a good Samaritan, you might say, comes and looks at this dog and says, sorry, I'm a little sweaty. This good Samaritan comes and looks at this dog and sees that it has a good heart. Like it's been abused, but it has a good heart. That dog might feel like it's worthless because of the way it's been treated. But in the eyes of that good Samaritan, it's not worthless. Because he wants the dog, right? He's going to take care of the dog and love the dog, and the dog is going to return that love. And that's a little bit like the way God looks at us. There are some times where I feel completely and totally and utterly worthless. But the reality is my value is already determined. The value of something is determined by how much someone will give for it or pay for it, right? And God already gave Jesus. Jesus already gave his life for me. So, therefore, I am valuable. End of story. And when you recognize that, when not just here, but when that gets to your heart, that starts to change things. I'm not saying it's all in my heart, but it's begun, and that's a beautiful thing. And now, it's 2020. As I look at the world around me, I see chaos, I see fear, and I see control, and I see that Satan is working very hard to attack me and to attack you. And frankly, I think he's scared because he knows God is going to win this, just like you and I know that. There's very serious times coming ahead, but I want to encourage you to really, really think about what's important in life. When you meet Jesus face to face and you look back, are you going to think, or are you going to be thankful for what you did today or what you're going to do today? Are there moments that you're going to wish you hadn't wasted? Are there things you're going to wish you'd said to encourage someone else? The life we have now is very short. The life in eternity is very long. Alrighty, that's my story. This is a little bit of it. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like and comment below an experience you've had that really tells you who God is. It's always a blessing to share and hear others' experiences as well. If you are interested in missions, or if you're interested in following us, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you join us, and we've got lots of plans for new videos coming out soon. So we'll see you in the next one. God bless.